Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Miss Maliotakis doesn't just rip CNN to shreds over the Schumer shutdown. She's got some choice words of what's actually happening with the Schumer shutdown at large. Let's dive in.
The USDA making this choice not to tap into emergency funds, sending a memo to states saying that if they bridge the gap, you're not going to get reimbursed. Your state is suing over that, suing the Trump administration over that. The White House is not trying to solve for these funds running out. It's actually quite the opposite, and the reporting shows that. They see this as a pressure point on Democrats. What do you think about that approach?
Well, a couple of things. One, the fact that our two U.S. senators, Chuck Schumer being one of them, voted to shut down the government and refused to open it, they're looking at it as a pressure point and leverage as well. And I think we have to come together here and just figure out a solution. And
okay, but let me interrupt you real quick, because I know Democrats are doing something they have told us for years that Republicans were wrong for doing, even as they're arguing that their withholding of votes is somehow different, right? But the question I'm asking you, because you're a Republican, and that is your party, and that is your party in the White House making that decision. Do you think it's fair to use hunger of the country's most needy as leverage?
I was just about to answer when you interrupted me, because the blame is not just on this administration, because this administration is not the one that voted to shut down the government. It was the Senate Democrats that chose to. But what I'm simply saying is, if the Democrats are not going to vote to reopen the government, they want to continue using this leverage and inflict this type of pain on the American people unnecessarily, then what I think the president and the administration should do is what they've done with the women infant children program. They were able to find some money to shift funds to continue that program, very critical for young families that I represent. They found funds from Pentagon Research and Development to be able to pay our military. And as I said earlier, they should do the same here if given, which they seem to have received, green lights from the judges to allow them to use it. The issue remains. It is simply a Band-Aid. $5 billion is not going to cover $8 billion in necessary costs. That's what you need to cover the benefits for the 42 million Americans. So yes, they should do what they can today to prevent people from having to face this hardship of not having to be able to put food on their table. But we have to recognize that it's not just about this. We also have, as you mentioned, the air traffic controllers, the federal employees who are not getting paid. They're also worried about putting food on the table, paying their mortgage, paying their car payments at the end of the month. Everybody is struggling here, and it's unnecessary. That's my point. My point is that I don't understand why from the beginning the Senate Democrats just simply chose not to vote for the same bill that they supported 4 times before. We did not try to put any political any gimmicks in there or add unrelated outside policy. In fact, that's what they're trying to do right now, and they're leveraging the pain of the American people to do that, and it is simply wrong. It is wrong, and they should just stop this today. Let's reopen the government. We're happy to talk about health care and other issues. The health care issue is a real issue. And why is it? Because the Affordable Care Act was never actually affordable. And that is why these subsidies are needed to the insurance companies.
Okay, this was a choice by this administration to not use those funds. How is that not using hunger of the neediest Americans for leverage?
Well, because again, they did not shut down the government. As somebody who voted to fund the government, I voted to fund the government because I didn't want to see it come to this. I did not want to see people in my district who rely on SNAP end up not receiving benefits. I didn't want to see my military, I represent Coast Guard and Army base, that they would not get paid, or the federal workers that I have. I made a choice to fund the government despite not liking everything that was in not everything that was in that funding package. But here we are. Look, the fact remains that even if we put this Band-Aid, which I said it this is my 3rd time now saying that the Trump administration should do what it can. If they can use $5 billion according to the judge, then use the $5 billion. It's still $8 billion for the month, and then next month's going to be another $8 billion, another $8 billion after that. The money is just simply not there to continue this in perpetuity. We need to fund the government. Now, the Democrats made a conscious choice, knowing that this was going to happen, that there would be flight delays and a transportation nightmare come the holidays. They knew that the military wasn't going to get paid. They knew women and children and infants were not going to get their supplemental WIC. They knew that the SNAP benefits were not going to come in. And yet they made the conscious decision to vote no on a bill that they negotiated and then voted for 3 times to extend.
They knew it was wrong. The Democrats knew it was a bad idea. The Senate Democrats knew that it was going to hurt Americans, and they did it anyways. They wanted to do it mainly in order to wait out and see what happens with the midterm elections. Now, I don't know where they're going to go from this. I don't know if the debriefing after these political elections were held, and I don't know which direction they're going to take it. I actually don't. This is unusual for me to actually not know the play here. I don't know what Democrats think they're going to get from this. Yeah, they won in mostly Democrat areas. It is stumping me right now. This is why we have a comment section. Let me know if I'm missing something here. I don't understand the play. What I do know is people like Maliotakis. Okay, this girl is tough. Okay, she is an assistant whip, which means she's responsible for the sludge moving through the House, and she's good at that. All right. It's rare that you find a whip that I actually like and immediately respect from the onset, because I have that British Isle gene in the back of my mind and soul that says question authority at all times. But she's one of those people that I would immediately jump to attention. This is the kind of person that knows how to command, particularly in the legislative sense. It's rare to find that. When it comes to this shutdown, Maliotakis is specifically pointing out a much bigger problem. The Democrats knew, and they did it anyways. And furthermore, the big brain problem, so to speak, is the ACA. Now, why are we bringing up Obamacare? Well, during lockdowns, Democrats voted to extend certain subsidies. And by the way, if your thing is being subsidized by the federal government, it's probably not a good thing. Okay? Making weapons, missiles, and planes, that's a cool thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. Okay? I'm okay with those subsidies because, things go boom. I like things that go boom. It's also because Lockheed Martin has a plant about 10 miles south of here, and oh boy, I had airplane posters everywhere. The F-22 Raptor was the coolest thing ever made since the B-2 bomber. But that's not the kind of government subsidy I'm talking about. I'm talking about insurances that are directly subsidized by the federal government. Why? Why must the federal government come in and play footsie with a whole bunch of insurance companies? Could it be that just maybe the ACA was a big ball of just chaotic nothing? That's what it's become. Insurance hasn't gone down, it's gone up because of this. Because it didn't fix the fundamental problems. If you want to fix healthcare in America, you have to make things transparent. They don't want to do that. The lobbyists will pay tooth and nail for that not to happen. They will pay through the nose, particularly with your money, in order to ensure that they can glean every single dollar they can, when we know for sure the way that this system is rigged is hurting Americans. The fact that you have to talk to your insurance provider, then find the right kind of doctor who uses this product instead of this product, but they have to talk with another provider on the other side of the country that doesn't operate in your state's state laws, because we have everything, because each state sets its own different rules, and so you have to crisscross over back and forth, and you have to find the difference between inpatient, outpatient. It's insane. The whole system is insane, and you can fix it if you wanted to. But they don't, because it makes them a ton of money. I bring up this story all the time, so I'll just keep it short. When I was working for Owens & Minor, we delivered supplies directly to hospitals. And during the lockdown, right at the beginning of it, when it was finally hitting our shores here, the warehouse was overflowing. We did not know where to put the rest of this stuff because the hospitals weren't buying. That's because the hospitals are incentivized to sit on their hands and ask Big Daddy government to bail them out when they could have been buying the products anyways. They will do anything they can to scam the system. And the big problem is that they're mostly Democrat-backed. Most folks in the medical industry are Democrats because they think that a highly bureaucratized system is a good thing. And they think they're the ones that can properly run it, when the reality is they're the ones making everything worse. I hate dumping on doctors, but because that's not entirely fair, but they're the ones that fight for this system harder than anyone else, with the exception of the nurses. We saw Barack Obama shove a terrible bill down our throats back in late 2009, early 2010. Nancy Pelosi had to pull away voters. She had to pull away Democrats, put them to the side and said, you're voting for this thing, okay? You're doing it. She had to pull every trick in the book in order to get that bill passed, and it has done nothing but bring more misery to the American people. I can think of one good benefit from it. Only one. And a bill that's over 2,000 pages long, one good thing. And now we're arguing over the subsidies for it? No, let the subsidies end. Let's start bringing a truly transparent system, and I think Washington can deliver on that, but they have enough money backing from their lobbyists to just make this nightmare continue to go on and on. And having nightmares is not fair to you, it is not fair to me, it is not fair to the sick, it's not fair to the poor, it isn't fair to anyone except the doctors, the lobbyists, the people that run the hospitals, and make billions upon billions, arguably trillions, off of your poor health. That is the American healthcare system in a nutshell, and Obamacare made it worse, and we're out here arguing about subsidies? Ugh. The Democrats forced that on us. Never let them forget it. They own the shutdown because of how bad Obamacare has been. That is his legacy, and that's the Schumer shutdown in a nutshell. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politabrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And hey, we actually offer memberships. If you want to pay a few bucks a month to get specially curated content directly to you and help keep this team going, keep this channel afloat, so we can keep giving you an excellent product of giving you better versions of the news than the left stream media. So until next time, y'all have a good one.